Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019, and the time is 5:01.
Okay, Mr. Genowine?
Here.
Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
And Mr. Crandall?
Here, Mr. Simcoe is sick tonight. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move approval of the minutes of the March 13th special meeting.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. I move approval of the March 19th special meeting.
Both of them, or are these separate, or is it? I wasn't there for the special meeting.
Yeah, let's keep them separated.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you were there.
I came in
Did you
late.
second? I did.
I'll second it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr.
Oh, excuse me, abstain, sorry.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. I move approval of the March 19th regular meeting.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. I move approval of the March 27th special meeting.
Second?
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. And finally, I'll move approval of the March 28th minutes, special meeting on the March 28th.
Second?
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, I have two additions to the meeting. Under executive session, I have non-union personnel, fire department, and under administration, personnel.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, hearing of the public on agenda items. I think Carol's the only one that signed up, but can we, when we get to that item on the agenda, is that all right with you? Yeah, thank you. All right, road department.
Good evening, I've got two resolutions. First resolution is 19049. It's a lengthy conversation regarding the ODOT road salt contracts. It's required language per ODOT's requirements, and this is to participate in the 1920 salt purchase, cooperative purchase through ODOT.
I'll offer resolution 19049 to participate in road salt contracts. Second?
Okay, call roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Thank you. Next resolution, 19550. As you know, the road department has advertised to hire, and we would like to authorize the road superintendent to hire a utility worker. We conducted interviews for the two vacancy positions, and we're going to re-advertise for the second position, but for this position, we'd like to hire Jared Burt as a utility worker, starting wage of $21.50 per hour, and his start date would be May 6, 2019.
Any questions for Mr. Nash? I have one. How many applications did you have?
We've had over 100
Over 100?
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
for the first round. We're on the second round of advertising. As of 3 days, we got about 20.
Thank you.
Weeding out as much as we can. A lot of resumes and applications to review.
I'll move resolution 19050, authorize the road superintendent to hire utility worker.
Second?
Call roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Any questions?
Thanks, Rob.
Fire department? Hi, Mike.
Good afternoon. Hello, evening.
We are back again, this time with a resolution to accept the regional radio grant bids. As you're aware, the first time, none of the bids met the specs, so we had to have them go back out to bid. We do have good bids this time, and our grant committee looked everything over, and would like to go with the Motorola radios for a number of different reasons. They do have the overall low bid, plus their radios fit with what we have already and the equipment that we have in the vehicles already. So we'd like to offer Resolution 19051 to accept these bids.
I'll move Resolution 19051 to accept the regional radio grant bid from Motorola Solutions.
Second?
Okay, call on Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
and Mr. Crandall.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Administrator?
I have Resolution 19053, it's the approval of a severance agreement. As you know, we had a reorganization in the police department where we had to lay off one of our deputy police chiefs, Ray Carroll. This is a severance agreement with former Deputy Chief Carroll. It falls within our policy for severance when we lay somebody off. This resolution authorizes John Crandall to sign the agreement on behalf of the trustees.
I'll offer Resolution 19053, approval of severance agreement.
Second?
Okay, call on Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
and Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
I do have something else for the administrator.
Yes.
I know we got an email on it here recently, and I got a call from a media outlet today. What is the township's role, and I know Mr. Burrell looked into it a while ago, what is the township's role in the cable television franchise?
Well, I'll let John talk, we really have no role in it, it's all...
That's what I thought, I
It's-
just wanted to refresh my
it's-
memory, because with a rate increase coming up, I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of
Right.
questions directed at.
And people think that the township granted Buckeye an exclusive franchise. We grant no franchises. I'll let John talk.
Took care of it.
I agree, yeah, we did look at this a few years ago, and the township has absolutely no role in cable, whether it's wire cable or internet through satellites, they have absolutely no role in it. It's all the state. Even the state doesn't grant franchises, so anybody could come in and set up a cable system in Sylvania if they wanted to invest the money in it.
And is the main reason that there's not other providers is because it's too expensive to run the wires and do that? And it's
And
cheaper
not
to get satellite?
not knowing the amount of clients you're going to get, you're going to spend millions of dollars running the wire and not know how many clients you're going to get. And, as you know, the future is wireless. AT&T bought Dish TV or whatever is one of the wireless ones because they know where the future is, so nobody's going to spend that kind of money.
We might want to get something on our website that explains that again, because I have a feeling with the rate increases that are coming, that people are going to, and I don't even know how they associate it with the township. I certainly don't when I pay my bill, but...
On the bottom of the bill, for some reason, Buckeye Cablevision, if you're in the township, says, franchise Sylvania Township or something. I don't know why they do that. In fact, I will check into that.
I don't think Buckeye serves the whole, we've got areas where we don't have any service, right?
I couldn't
think so.
know.
I've had calls,
My parents did not Mitch out there for years and years, so yeah, I know that's right.
I've had calls on Wuffinger Road.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any service there from Buckeye, anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
Would you be able to talk to Buckeye and, maybe be able to explain where we do not have service? Or find out where they have service?
Sure.
I think it's sad that there are some areas that don't have any service. If you could do that, John, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, hearing of the public and non-agenda items.
Fiscal officer.
I'm sorry, fiscal officer, excuse me. Thank you.
We have resolution 19-052, in which we are requesting the additional appropriations for the funds like road and bridge fund, because they are in process of hiring, so for the legal notices, we'll need some money appropriated. And we were just informed by the county that we have got some TIF money available from the 2018 taxes, so we have to appropriate money for that. So these are the only two reasons we are requesting additional appropriations.
This the last year for the TIF, right?
Hopefully, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'll offer resolution 19052, Township Appropriation from encumbered balance.
Second.
Call the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. Next item says hearing of the public, but it says for non-agenda items, and we have open discussion and reports, so I'll move to the TARP Sunday services.
We have some people that are on the non-agenda, though.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna move it to just to have an executive session, since these are non-agenda items and that's on the agenda. Does that make sense? Or you wanna do it?
Well, I just would hate for, I'd hate for these guys to stick around, right?
Okay, all right,
Let them go home and have dinner.
all right.
You're welcome.
Bill Berry, Whispering Oak. Bill?
Good evening,
Traffic
gentlemen.
safety,
Bill Berry, board member of the Meadows. The topic in discussion is consistent violation, traffic violation and safety violation of traffic at the west end of Whispering Oak on the Meadows. This has got to a very serious situation now whereby the bulk of the problem is coming from Woodstream, followed by FedEx, followed by UPS, and we've been communicating with Chief Long to see what we can do to try and improve the situation. Obviously, the decision was made earlier, a few years ago, not to accept a proposal from the Meadows to block off Whispering Oak, obviously for reasons of fire access and everything, but we're now in a situation where each and every day we're getting somewhere between 10 and 20 vehicles going the wrong way, and you cannot see at the bend, and we're getting people walking, especially with spring and summer coming. It's just getting a liability, and we would like to actually work and communicate to try and get this resolved once and for all.
Paul, where are you guys at? How are we?
Yeah, Mr. Gray just emailed me earlier, we just had a nice discussion beforehand. So, we've got some ideas on how to, obviously we can't put officer there 24/7, but we've got some ideas with our signage board and with some, officers there as well. It's a tough spot to sit around the corner on King. That's because, so we'll have to get some driveways, get some approval to sit in some of theirs, otherwise we become a choke point on King Road if we try to sit there, so. But we have some ideas, I just talked to Mr. Berry, and I know even Rob's got some thoughts with some things from the road for the, because there's a pedestrian walkway just to the right of the boulevard there that's just wide enough that sometimes people think, oh, stay to the right of the boulevard and drive your car down it, Mr. Berry was saying, so.
So we've had complaints that not only the roadside, but actually on the bicycle walking path, they're actually driving on the residents' front garden.
Yeah, part lawn, so we just spoke right before the meeting here, so we've got some thoughts, and the FedEx and UPS was interesting too. I'm thinking maybe we'll give them a call, talk to some supervisors over there to share with their drivers, hey, don't be using that as a cut-through, or, if we could catch them, that'd be great, we'll give them a ticket, and it'll probably impact their job, but, so we've got some thoughts on what to do there.
Could you give us a time frame to get back to Mr. Berry?
Yeah, he was just giving us some of the times here. I'd like to probably give it at least 2 or 3 weeks so we can get a sampling size to see when we're out there and what we see going through. So let's say 3 weeks.
That's fine.
2 might be a bit quick.
Yeah.
And we'll get on, go on this.
Well, let's say 3 to 4.
Yeah, 3 to 4. That would be better because it's tough to just come up with a good sample in 2 weeks. So I would say 3 to 4 and we can get back. And I'll stay in communication with Mr. Berry, no problem. Got his
Thank you,
email
Mr.
stuff.
Berry.
Yeah,
Is
thanks for,
that one-way still necessary?
Well, very much so. We obviously, the Meadows residents wish it to be blocked off completely because obviously as more and more building is going westwards, a lot more people are trying to come through, and obviously we have the Woodstream, and to be fair to the younger people, it's not Northview, it's students, it's basically adults that are doing it, and it's not at what you would consider the busy time. It's normally after school starts, maybe 10 o'clock,
to just before lunch, and then we find that round about 1 o'clock through about 3 o'clock, that's when we see a lot of that. And then late in the evening, when it gets darker, we find people, even though there's 3 signs from the start of Convent straight through to the start of Whispering Oak that basically tells you no entry, people just, you know, they want to get to their home in Woodstream, so they just take it right through.
Very, thanks for coming tonight.
No, you're
Appreciate the
welcome.
heads up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy Northrup?
You want to go there?
Yes, please, thank you, Amy. Amy lives at 5163 Kurtzdale, Kursdale, sorry.
It's in Corey Meadows across from, okay, in case anybody doesn't know. Well, it just kind of came to my attention last night or this morning that there's consideration for a retirement community across the street. There's a lot of acreage over there, and I wasn't at the meeting last night, I didn't know about it, but I heard that the gentleman who presented it said that there would be no traffic issues on Whiteford Road and, you know, whatever. Well, we already have people cutting through a lot in our neighborhood in the morning and in the evenings to and from work to cut off that corner at Whiteford and Monroe Street. And around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when the school lets out, or in the morning, there's quite a you know, backup there on Whiteford Road, so that would have to be addressed too. And I'm not really sure, my neighbor here, Melissa, was at the meeting last night, and I don't really know the ins and outs of what's...
Excuse me, but Darrell, could you tell us where we're at, and that it's not before the board tonight, and I don't know exactly, there was a meeting called by the developer, not by the township.
I just kind of want you to be aware that there's going to be a lot of angry neighbors.
We've had calls, we're aware, but we haven't seen anything as a board yet. Go ahead, Darrell.
Right, nothing has been submitted to the township yet, no application for conditional use.
Because I saw it in your email response that it goes before 2 public hearings.
Right.
And again, I drove by it today because I got the 2 emails. There's no sign up in terms of.
Right.
When will these residents be notified that there is a county meeting on this in front of the planning commission? And will the sign be up before that? Again, I hate when people find out when it's too late. I'm very happy you're here and letting us know that there's going to be a lot of attention to this issue and we get it right, rather than hearing the complaints after we've approved something. So I'm glad, again, that it's being kind of discussed and having these meetings, but I think it's important that everybody be engaged in this. So has it gone in front of the county?
No, as I said, they have not applied for anything yet.
They submitted something to the county that was 4-story, and then
That was about a year ago, their original concept.
Okay,
And-
and then they went to the county with that?
Right.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Me neither.
So when will we be notified of it, and when will the neighbors be notified of it?
Well, when we receive an application for conditional use, it comes through our office
The county hears
first.
about it, or before the county hears about it?
It would be before, they apply through our office, and then it goes down to the Lucas County Plan Commission for a meeting first, and then to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
On behalf of the neighbors, I talked to George Orvitz about the guy that was here last night to try to get a feel of what his thoughts were, and he mentioned that they've got a lot of work to do just with the road. To get to even where they want to get to with the design, the road, they've got water issues, sewage, you know, how big the sewer lines are, water lines, so he sounded like they haven't even, last night I think was just kind of get to know the neighborhood, you know, what's the feel, what's the flow, and then, you know, work from there, but he mentioned that there's, you know, it's probably summer before the county would see it, and then the project itself, if it was approved, they got a long way to go, and I personally have some serious issues with it too, but I think they thought like 2021 would be the construction process.
Right, they don't have an engineered site plan, everything is just at the conceptual stage at this point.
But that was the second meeting they held last night for the residents, that's what the email stated.
Right, they had one about a year ago when they were considering the 4-story.
Did they invite you guys to the first one?
There was no notification for the first one.
Okay, hold on.
Sir, sorry,
Yeah,
but,
hold on.
okay. Don't speak out unless we have your name and address.
It's just for the record, just for the tape.
Either of the meetings?
I wonder, Amy, would you be willing, if hard for Daryl to know everybody, but would you be a contact person that Daryl could let know when it does go before the county in case it does? I mean, right now, it's not on our agenda, and it's quite a ways from getting to us.
And Dan Needs was there last night, and he mentioned that he's got a Facebook site, or the neighborhood does, so that might be our vehicle to make contact there, so.
I would also recommend that once Daryl gets it, let Sammy know, and we can put it on our website.
Yeah, that's a
There's
good
meeting
idea.
down at the plan commission.
That's a good idea. Good.
I know with that one neighborhood on King Road, it was notified that the zoning change sign was laid on the ground for most of the time it was supposed to be posted, and I think personally the township does not that great of a job of communicating these types of changes, and I just want to make sure that everybody is aware, and if they have issues, that they're communicated to us and we're aware of them. So I just want to improve the communication process, and then let it go on from there, and I think if we're all engaged in it, we'll hopefully get it right one way or another.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
You want my number?
Melissa Todd? Did you wish to speak? Go ahead. Melissa lives at 5154 Kirstdale.
Yes, right across from the
Okay.
Northrops. So, my concerns, and I don't speak publicly, so forgive me.
Fine.
But my concerns with that facility going up 225 units, so you're talking, even without the staff that they would be hiring there, basically 225 apartments, staff, cafeteria workers, families who would be visiting daily, the traffic would be horrendous. Kids from our neighborhood wouldn't be able to walk to school anymore. And probably my biggest concern is we're already in a real dangerous place for human trafficking, and putting that kind of traffic right next to the school is not a good idea. It's not safe for our kids. That traffic, anybody who is thinking about picking up a kid could drive right down that road knowing they're gonna blend right in with all the vehicles and all the traffic. And that traffic is terrible. My son has already been in a car accident between leaving our neighborhood and Monroe Street. That's how bad the traffic is. So I have a lot of concerns, and probably my biggest is if there was a meeting a year ago, none of us knew about it.
Yeah.
Most people didn't know about last night's meeting. In fact, the school, like the principal at the school, was not even aware what the meeting that they were having was about. They are completely unaware of what's being proposed to be built right next to them. So I think it's real poor communication with the neighborhoods and the families. And I think there needs to be some way that before all this stuff does get proposed and approved, that, we can put it out there that this is not an okay thing.
Streamline this side first up front, like you said, makes it, like John's saying, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we can get petitions together, we can do whatever we have to do, but the fact that it's so hush-hush made me extremely worried that what they were doing is trying to do this little meeting with nobody knowing about it, nobody showing up, proposing this over the summer because then none of the school parents would know about it, and nobody would cause a fuss, and things would get through without us knowing, after the fact.
Well,
I think
two of the trustees live in the area, so you've got that going for you, and one of us is up for re-election this year, so you might get his attention, and we'll see where it goes.
Of course, we try to keep these meetings done. But anyway, you realize this is not the township, this is the developer, and Darrell will keep Amy posted, and we'll get it on our...
Well, I just know they did have some building proposal things at last night's meeting. I think they're a little further into this than what is being told.
But there was a project that was looked at last year there, and the numbers, they were some high-end villas, and I talked to the developer about that today, why he walked away from the project, and he walked away from the project because the road construction just was not feasible. So I'm sure as this thing develops, this will be a real hot button with regards to the road too,
Yeah,
so.
it's just not a good placement. I'm not against the facility, I'm against it going right there next to the school and in an already bad traffic situation. So,
Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Okay, we'll continue with non-agenda items. Jim Crosby.
Yeah, you guys are free to go if you'd like. Here's your chance. Thank you. See ya, thanks for coming. Bye.
Gentlemen,
Hi.
I have two issues that I'd like to speak upon. One is, I took notice within the recent special meeting minutes, and the thing that I was impressed by there was the attendees who were invited into the executive session. I think that's a good thing to record. It doesn't concern the topic of the meeting, what happens within the meeting, but I think that's good public record keeping to let people know who's in attendance within your executive sessions. By law, you can exclude particulars about the topic other than generalities, but it's good to know who actually attended. So it has not gone unnoted, and hopefully such record keeping will persist. The other thing is, I was wondering if any of you gentlemen have any knowledge about the city's recent annexation attempts, what status it's in, what phase it's in, how it's being received, how it's being reviewed. I know the township has committed money to legal counsel for that, to defeat that effort. Can anyone share what's going on right now for the money that's already spent?
I'll try, you guys. We've interviewed 3 attorneys. We haven't made a selection yet. And those names of the attorneys, as you said, we're now reporting who's in attendance. So those would be on the notes or the minutes of the special meeting. We haven't made a decision on an attorney yet. I think that's your question.
My question is, where is it in the annexation process?
When we learned about it, that's as far as we know, that they are going after. We haven't learned the number of residences that are involved.
Well,
There's been some record requests by residents, but we have not been engaged.
We do know approximately there's about 400 residents in the subdivisions that they're active in. We don't know who they've contacted. It's hard for us to answer, Jim, what the city's doing.
I can appreciate that.
You almost...
When I've asked some of the city government officials directly, I get pushed away and sidelined and deflected
So do we.
quickly. And some of them were quite defensive about it. And they indicated it's been going on for years and decades and it will persist.
That's what we understand.
I know in years past, there has been efforts to combine the township and the city into one entity, which was soundly defeated,
Both in the city and township.
which is fine by me. I am personally unaware of any efforts the township residents of the unincorporated township area have ever taken to divorce themselves from the city. Ohio Revised Code does allow for incorporated portions of a township to be uninvited to the township. They will no longer be a portion of the township. That creates a problem for the city insofar as that they do not have a fire department. It creates a problem for the township fire department in that it would minimize the taxable property values. But if such positioning persists, I would not be surprised to see more citizens calling for a divorcing of the city and the township.
Do you know what section of the code that is? We can look it up.
You've got lots of legal counsel?
Okay, oh, I thought you might...
I'm gonna guess it's, what is this, what is that section, John?
Title 7.
Title 7's not a municipal thing, it's
It's two laws of law, one initiated by the city, one initiated by the township.
the township chapter is chapter 500.
But the separation, right, is in Title 7, which is a municipal section.
That's good, that's true.
It has nothing to do with annexation. Won't stop annexation.
It would not, but it would also present a roadblock in the city's claim that they provide the same or better services. If they don't have a fire service, They would have to contract, there's a number of different avenues the city could pursue. It would certainly create probably more obstacles and problems than it would ever fix, but it certainly is an option, unpopular for a number of people for a number of reasons.
I think it's heading in the wrong direction for this community, but we're doing all we can with what we can do, which is very limited by the Ohio Revised Code. So we're trying to be, number one, on top of it and improve communications with the city, but we're also, we know we're fairly limited in what we can do, so.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I've heard elected members of this township at one time say that based upon their observation of what goes on in meetings when too many public people come to speak their mind, that the township method of government is archaic and out of favor, and they would not be opposed to abolishing township government, which I found a little bit disheartening personally. So
Jim, that's fine, but of course, there's nothing on the agenda.
I understand that. I just know that that issue has been brought to the board. And I was just looking for some information.
Maybe we could post something on the website. Right now, there's been no progress.
Information and communication is always a great thing to do, Mr. Crandall.
I think we could maybe do that a little bit of that. I think there's a lot of...
Township government, I mean, having only 3 people here is very difficult. It only takes one other person and you're the majority, so. But certainly, I don't think any one of us would trade it for anything else right now, but we're always looking to improve.
I think it can be effective, and I think it needs to be...
Jim, I was trying to both meetings. I think there's more open discussion here than there is at the city, I will tell you that.
I have attended some of both also, and I have my own personal opinion about that. Some things I see good, and some things I just have to wonder how and why. That's all I have, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the TARP Sunday Services discussion. Carol Lindhuber is signed up to speak. Carol?
Are you going, Neil, are you going to?
Yeah, I have a few things I did want to talk about.
Oh, that's okay. We'll start with you.
Let Neil go.
Okay.
Back in March 7th, I had mentioned to you guys, or let me rephrase it. Back in late last year, I had asked, I kind of told you guys I'd be tracking this TARTA issue, what's going on, what the developments are, what are we hearing, and I wanted to give you an update to where we're at, where things are at with that. And number 2 was to discuss an ask from Commissioner Gerken and and where some of the well, let me start to get too wordy. Let me just start from what I know from back from last year. There's a committee. There's an 18 committee members. I'm not sure if you guys had time between March 7th and today to talk about this, but or find some information or details. But on there's 18 board members that started this blue ribbon team, and you know when I said no for transportation, it wasn't no because I'm against regional transportation. Again, this is Neil Mahoney speaking. It was no, I'm not against regional transportation. I was against how I think things need to run in the future. And again, Neil Mahoney speaking is why I'm bringing this up this evening with you guys to consider. So when I talked to the commissioners about this blue ribbon team that they're putting together, I had first of all, if I have a problem, I want to be part of the solution. And at that time, they were like, you know, Neil, it's going to be a pretty tight group. We're really going to be laser focused. The meetings are Thursday at lunch hour. We're getting, you know, we've got business people, we've got partners at law firms, we've got accountants that are involved, and we've got the unions, and we've got some of the disability agencies that are really active and taking the role. That has changed as of last week, which I wasn't aware of, that anybody in this room has the opportunity to go listen to these blue ribbon team meetings. So in my day-to-day contact with, my week-to-week contact with Mosier, Joe Lazar from Mosier Construction, who's on the board, he's kept me abreast of this over the last 3 months. And in the meantime, I've been I'm on the board of the Toledo Regional, or the Toledo Chamber, and Brian Dickens is the lead for another study that they partnered in conjunction with Bowling Green State University, and the Chamber's taking the lead and not TARDA on this. So the Chambers have a different approach than what we may have seen. And so the two-prong approach, they're looking at the operational side, the Blue Ribbon team, and then the Toledo Chamber is actually looking for the raw data. We got some raw data last year that maybe wasn't the correct one. Maybe there's some discrepancies. I'm not saying they were or not, but they're looking at the raw data with this partnership with the Chamber and with Bowling Green State University. So in my opinion, I'm looking at things that's coming down the road, like there's some changes, that looks like there's changes for the good or better, whatever, but there are people that are smarter than I am, and at least trying to look at different avenues and different angles. So fast forward to March 5th or March 7th when I sent that email, I got a call from Dottie, who's on the board, asking if Sylvania Township would be interested in, or actually Pete Gerken had called and said, hey Neil, would you guys be interested in helping with the solution and help contribute towards inputting Sunday service for TARPs? Not TARDA, but TARPs. And that service would be for deliveries of but work and church and things of that nature. And I said, well, I'd personally be open to it, but I would want to give the trustees plenty of advance notice to give this some consideration. And, what their ask was more than I personally said, no, I'm not necessarily agreeing to that ask, but I do think as a township, or me personally, I would have no problems offering $5,000 to contribute towards towards this. Now, I just got this off, I would have normally given you guys more advance notice, but this just came in today from TARPs, or from the Toledo, the partners that have approved this for today. It was in the paper today, the Blade Online. And you've got Mercy Hospital, you've got some private businesses, you've got people that are actually have a stake in seeing a good solution to TARDA and regional transportation. And I'm sorry for the last minute notice, because I know you guys like this stuff ahead of time, and I apologize. This is the partnership with the Toledo Regional Chamber is going to be doing with Bowling Green State University. And I have a list of the board, I didn't make copies, I should have. I have the list of the board members that are actually on the board that I know John Genowan has asked before us, and I got that today. So in my opinion, I feel that it's not a renewable thing. It's to get us through the year. It's to get the people back on the roads on Sundays, to get to church, and to be able to have the opportunity to continue with regional transportation. So there's some alternative things that may come out that I look forward to hearing from. So that's my proposal, is that we make a grant, or the township would contribute $5,000 in order for this to happen. And it's already happened. They've already got the monies approved, because that's the announcement they made today in the paper. But I had committed to them that I wanted to give you guys plenty of time to think about this, and that I wouldn't make any decisions until the first trustee meeting of April, whether they have the money or not. But I think $5,000 would be a small ask for us to feel like we're part of the regional area.
I would encourage, what I would like to see, and again, I'm all for particularly TARPs, but I would like one of their board members to come, instead of putting the pressure on you to deliver it to the board on a night that, we may or may not take action. And that would allow us to figure out where that $5,000 is going to come from. I mean, is that coming out of our general fund? Is that coming out of our road?
Yeah, it's coming out of general fund.
And what impact does that have? Again, it's a fairly small amount for the size of budget we have, but again, that's...
Sure, I agree. I think it's a valid point. We've had 30 days to look at this without, I mean, my email was pretty specific in saying what I was prepared to ask for, not a number, but prepared to ask for money this evening. That if I'd have known, I would have certainly called a board member and said, hey, come to the meeting. I didn't think, if I thought that was an issue, I'd have brought.
I only know what you sent us.
Yeah, and that was, you didn't agree with the amount. You didn't say we were coming for a different
Well, let
amount.
me finish, John. Well, and I'm not sure who the request is. Is it, I think it's the area office on aging?
Correct.
Is taking the lead. And doesn't TARPS get funding from TARDA? I think they do.
Yeah,
So this is a result of a cutback,
Correct.
and yet our taxpayers are still paying the same amount, but they've cut back service, and now they're coming back to us. And I'm all for participation, but the other 7 jurisdictions, it didn't look to me like they put anything in, which would be Rossford and Toledo, and I did see the Mercy Hospital and those, and they were 26,000 short, the last thing I saw, which, if you divided that by 7 entities, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, again, this just came out today, but the city of Toledo kicked in, Office of Aging, Toledo Mercy Health, black and
Is
white.
that in this?
Yeah, it's in today, that's why, again, I apologize for the last minute, I just got this off the press today. No, this is this article today.
I didn't see it in here, maybe I missed it.
No, it just came out, this article came out today at 11 o'clock, and that's why it would have, I was trying to get my arms around who are the contributors, because I wanted to make sure that,
Boy, I don't see that.
page 3,
Kind of up on.
It's up on the top, I printed it.
Oh, I missed it, okay. Toledo and Mercy Health, 10,000 each, all right.
LMHA kicked in, it's in here, but the two
Are they still
community
short?
foundation.
Do you know?
I know, they made the announcement today, I think, maybe our Blade representative would know if we had, when they made the press conference downtown on that, do they have the funding?
I am not clear.
Okay,
Our transportation reporter has been handling.
Patch has, okay.
So,
What would you, I'd like a little more information now.
okay.
I don't know if you guys got a call from our Tartar rep. I didn't,
I didn't.
but I've had calls from him, I would say about every 6 months, just updating me. I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah, I've been in communication with
But
them.
I don't think this is coming from Tartar. I think
It's not, it's part of it's part of the Office of Aging in my emails in conjunction with the Blue Ribbon team that's a part of this, to get TARPS, Commissioner Gerken, to get regional transportation going on Sundays. And of the 350,000, they're asking for $5,000 from Sylvania Township. I don't think that's a big ask.
Well, did they ask us for $5,000 or?
They asked us for 10, I told them no.
They asked
Based on
for
me.
money, wasn't it?
No, they asked for 10, I said, I'm not agreeing to 10.
Okay.
I said, I'll propose to you guys for 5.
But that's a phone call, isn't it? I haven't seen a request. Have you seen a request?
There was not a request other than what the letter from, it's not gonna be TARP, it's gonna be TARPS.
In the area office of aging? or?
Yeah, and that was the email from the area office of aging, and she's on the board of the committee.
I don't know, do we have a motion, or, did you want to speak, Carl? I think Carol would like.
Say a couple words.
Okay, please come up, Carol. Carol is at 5300 Brandon Lane.
She hasn't spoken quite a while, how do you remember that?
I did, I got cheat sheets here.
You guys probably remember that I'm definitely against giving sales tax money to TARDA, because I don't feel that they've ever really given us, or what we asked for is a strategic plan to go forward. They gave us a marketing plan, not a strategic plan. But in this case, you will find it perhaps unusual, but I would support the $5,000. I'm very tired of hearing and seeing in the paper the management of TARDA continually blaming the trustees for not being able to get the sales tax on the ballot. The trustees, from my point of view,
are just looking out for taxpayers like myself. And we don't need to give more money to TARDA until they get their organization together and on the proper road for a 21st century transportation service. But the tarps, the $5,000, I would support. I think that it would be a goodwill gesture from Sylvania Township. Perhaps it will, ease a little bit the angst that has come from the TARPS people and the fact that they have difficulty getting around, particularly on Sunday. So, it's up to you folks, obviously, but I think that it would be a good thing to do for a relatively small amount of money.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak on the issue? All right. I don't think we have a motion. I don't know if you want to...
I'll make a motion that we allot $5,000 towards the TARPS Sunday Service Program.
I think I'd make a motion to table that motion to a definite date. I'll leave a little bit on our administrator, but could we have something back? I still don't know who the members of the Blue Ribbon Committee are. I'm not sure where the request is coming. And it seems to me that all participants in TARDA should be contributing to this, since we're being asked to contribute beyond our taxes that are collected. I don't know how you...
That's fair enough.
John.
I'm all in favor of it, but I would feel much more comfortable having a representative from them here
It'd be
and
from
ask
TARPS.
questions.
Yeah,
Or whoever's
TARPS,
requesting
not
this.
TARDA.
Yes, and, if we put a vote
Yeah, we'll
next
have-
time, that'd be great. Again, I'm all in favor of it, but
Could
just
we-
voting yes on something I don't know about
Could we table it to the next meeting, put it on the agenda?
Yeah.
Is that agreement? I'll make a motion to table if somebody, I'll make a motion to table to our next regular meeting.
Well, since we didn't have a second, then we don't need to table it. Right?
There's no second on these.
There's no second yet.
That just dies.
Yeah,
So,
and then we'll put it on next.
so the motion
Agenda.
is,
Fair
all
enough.
right, John? Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to go into executive session for pending and imminent court action. Non-union, I think you said the fire department, and administration, I think it's
Administration personnel.
personnel.
Second.
I'll do the one at
You missed the fiscal.
5:47.
Yeah.
Second.
Some few more items.
The
What's that?
non-union fire and administrative personnel and the imminent court action.
Oh, pending court, yes, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Hey, what's this up here? I didn't even see.
And,
Where did this come from?
Chief Freeway, that's from John.
Oh, that's the, okay, got it, yep, okay.
Here's the number, they're short on here.
Got it.
Good call there, John.
640.
Second?
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. And I'll
And
move,
before we,
go
I'd
ahead.
like to say, William Boyle passed away today. He was a longtime political activist in our community, probably largely responsible for me getting involved in politics, so I just wanted to put that in our record.
Okay.
To Bill, good man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll move to come out of executive session at 6:41. So motion to adjourn, I'm sorry.
Second.
Lot to think about.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
All righty.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.